Good morning, Pittsburgh. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. What's good in your hood? I'm Kiki Brown from Whammo 1073. So glad you woke up with us this super early because there is a groundbreaking stage production coming to the city of Pittsburgh. And today you're going to learn more about God Guys. This is not a new restaurant, it's not a new church. We got Five Guys and then we got God's Plan. We're going to learn a little bit more about God Guys today. My guests, NA Stubbs and Nathaniel Brown, are here. And thank you all so much for getting up super early to talk about God Guys.
Thank
So
you.
now we're intrigued. Who can tell us what God Guys is? Miss Nay, you want to go first and let or see Nathaniel? I don't care. Tell me about God Guys. I'm gonna put my hand on my chin and just let y'all tell me what's going on.
Well, God Guys originated from me meeting with several of my friends for pizza. And every time we did it, it became a situation where we got comfortable and we talked about things that we didn't plan to talk about. And it kind of broke some ice. The barrier that we usually put up as Black men was removed for us to get comfortable. So we decided to create this production to be able to share an element of those gatherings. And it's based around Black males' mental health.
Mm,
So a lot of the topics, again, that we don't really talk about in the Black community, especially Black men, we wanted to present it in a way that would be comfortable, that everyone would be able to understand and see behind the walls of some of the barriers that we've put up in the Black community for so long.
okay. And now, how long have you been working on this project? Is it
Well,
has it been years? Has it been because you said you just been having lunch, so you're like, you know what? And maybe you covered
yeah.
it, but like this type of thing, because this is something that do you have to get the okay by the ancestors? You got to go to your tribe and be like, all right, bro, remember the stuff we was talking about at the barbershop? I might have to put this on a stage. So how long did this
Right.
take?
So the good thing about it is the guys that I was meeting with at this particular time were actors. So the
Okay.
initial idea was to do a film, a movie, with the idea. Once Nay and I got connected and we shared some of the same interests in dealing with things such as mental health and suicide and violence and all of those topics,
Hmm.
we just really like figured out how to tell that story. And so I shared it with her. She didn't even know that I had been thinking about this for years.
Hmm.
And so once I shared it with her, her wheels started going. And then she wrote the script and she said, "Look, I have this vision." And once I saw it, I was like, "This is exactly what I was talking about."
Right.
And so as a writer as well, I'm usually penning everything. But it was such a blessing to be able to have somebody else to catch the vision and then to be able to write it in the same way that I would and in some cases better. So she can tell you about that part of the process, but it was great to be able to bring all of those ideas to life and then to be able to put together this production and see so many people being touched by it.
Well, Nay, I mean, now you got the mic. So what was it that he said to you that you were just like Kermit the Frog on a typewriter, just going, you just went off. So what was it? What was that jolt? What was that revelation to you?
All I generally need to hear is I want to do something creative and I want to do something impactful.
Hmm.
That's all I need. Those two elements, that's the story of my life in sharing my gift with individuals, a community, the world.
Hmm.
So that's all I really needed to hear. And we were already working on another production that was dealing with social issues and dealing with the African American community. And so it was a no-brainer because, they really married each other. You know what I mean? They paralleled in a lot of ways when it just came to giving back to our community and developing answers for our community. So it was easy.
You mentioned our community, and even today, I know traditionally our community we have issues with trust, and we hold secrets, and family secrets. You know, we don't realize that your brother was really your daddy or your uncle was really your, you know,
Mhm.
whatever. So was this something you had to think about when you put all of this together in a script, like, oh, we're going to reveal some traumas, or we're going to address some traumas? And, you know, was it something that you maybe, Nathaniel, that's something that I want to be careful about the things that we talk about? Or were you just like, you know what? In order for us to heal, we gotta do it.
No, for me, and I'll pass it to Nay, but for
Okay.
me, um, it came from some of the topics and issues that we were talking about as that group, but then also some of the ideas and particular things that I've gone through or that have happened in my life. And so one of the things that we found is that we have so many similar stories that we kind of keep tucked away and hidden where we don't get the help that we need. So as Nay said, once we start talking about it and so many things just overlap on other projects that we're working on, she was like, "Oh, I got this."
Mm,
She's like, "I got this." And so that just allowed us to, really develop those areas and not be afraid of how it's going to impact people, because sometimes that's what it takes for us to get it.
okay. And Nate, what was the experience like bringing guys from Atlanta to Pittsburgh? And, or I mean, maybe both of you could talk about this, but what were your expectations? And it could, because Atlanta and Pittsburgh, two different markets, different Black folk.
Right. So I would say for me, due to the relevancy of the content, I didn't expect there to be much of a difference in the reception.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I believe just as Atlanta did, Pittsburgh will see it and welcome the need. And it just so happens to be an added bonus that this is home to me, and home gets to observe, my contribution to the production as well as our community as a whole. So I think their expectation is double. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You get to see the homegirl do something, and then a newbie, well, not quite newbie to Pittsburgh, but you know what I'm saying? Someone else, and how, you know, it's there's an element of bringing Atlanta and Pittsburgh together, through the creativity, as well as the message. And Atlanta is seen as Black Hollywood, and their acceptance of all things Black is more than Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just keep it real. The support in African American culture, especially in the arts, is different. It's huge, but I have no doubt in my mind that the relevancy of the content of the play, the message, is where the connectivity lies. The one of the important things is to start bringing, and I'm just going to say you're going to see us more, to start bringing relevancy into theater, so that our people will say, I do want to go to see the theater because I want to see me on stage.
Is
I
that
want
how
to.
you, I'm sorry, is that how you prepared your actors, like with casting? Like, this is, sometimes we have to set it up. My son is an actor, and he's, given the instruction, you either have to live this life, or you have to be really, really good imagining yourself being in that position. And for someone who may not have ever lived that life, or maybe they're too young, they may not have experienced the traumas, or they may not have experienced issues with mental health. How do you prepare your cast for that particular platform?
The plus of it is that, I mean, it's a coupling of technique and life experience.
Okay.
That is the plus of it. That was a bonus in dealing with both casts. Actually, the first cast that Chuck was talking about, and this second cast, when we had to recast the production,
Mm-hmm.
each of them, ironically, we'll say, identified with each of the characters that they're portraying.
Mm-hmm.
So they resonate with them. They have been through some of the things that their characters have been through. And so through character development, we were able to touch, on some things. And these gentlemen are being impacted first before they even get to share the message and impact the audience.
So set it up for me. Where are we in one scene? Is this going to take place in a neighborhood? Tell me without giving too much away, because we need to see it for ourselves. But what are we gonna experience? Set it up for me. She
Go ahead,
pointed at
Madam
you.
Director.
Mm-hmm. She pointed at you, or no?
So
I can't answer. I don't know.
no, I got you. So the setup is in the kitchen. So we say we invite you in the kitchen because in the kitchen is a lot of times where you're creating, you're making masterpieces in the oven and that special recipe. And so as these guys come together in this kitchen, it's where that magic takes place. They begin to open up, talk, all of those things.
Mhm.
So the entire production takes place there. I wanted you to do it because you're gonna know when to stop.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Nay. Take the
Oh,
baton.
mess.
Take it over, Nay.
Take it over, Nay.
You see how they put us to work,
I
Kiki?
see. That's okay.
Mhm.
We know
Say
what to do. We
kitchen.
know when to
You say
step in.
kitchen. You say kitchen, and the woman got to take over.
Right?
How's that work?
Mhm.
So one of the major elements as well was, just being culturally relevant. The kitchen is where Black folks sit and we talk about any and everything. And let's just be real, a living room or a bedroom conversation in our culture is
Totally
different than a
different than in the
conversation.
kitchen.
And so,
It is. It
right.
is.
And
I don't
so
know
there's,
why, but
and I was going to
traditionally,
say, I don't know where the liberty lies, but it just so
it's the kitchen
happens to be
spirit. The kitchen spirit.
right,
Just
right,
right.
exactly. And so, these men, they get together, annually just to kick it, just to eat dinner and have just, regular conversation. But this particular night, the floodgates open and they start sharing one by one. It's literally a domino effect. And surprisingly, that is what happens in real life. Once one Black man opens his mouth to say, I have dealt with this, you know what I'm saying? Another one is apt to say, me too. Wow, I never knew somebody else. You know what I mean? So they get to start seeing the permission that we ask, everyone to view from this, the tagline being Black men owning permission to feel and heal. They start seeing one man's permission and they start finding the permission themselves to open up, which is what we want, every Black man, young or older, to accept from, the production, to be able to feel those permissions. And once they do find their permissions within each other, surprisingly, we start seeing the hope appear. We start seeing the healing appear. So that's really the whole setup without giving too much away.
Would you say that there's a toss up, and fill me in the spirit when I say this, there's a toss up with acceptance when you have um a safe space like God Guys, where we're telling the stories, where we have people portraying characters and they're telling the real life stories of other people, versus a Krishan Keys who comes out and says, actor, musician Krishan Keys, who says he was sexually assaulted. This is one of many traumatic experiences that are that happen in our community, and Black men are still put up on this. I don't want to. It's kind of like a a platform where it's like nothing can ever happen to you. You're supposed to be so strong. You're supposed to be. You can't tell stuff like that. You can't. And I know I'm all over the place with my question. Hopefully you feel me in the
I get
spirit.
it.
Okay.
Yep, we get you.
So when he comes forward and says his thing, are we less accepting when that happens, when he tells his truth? Or are we more accepting when it's in entertainment? And
Yeah,
and if that's the case, with that being a different message, where are we wrong here with how we look at these things? Like, tell me what your thoughts are. Hopefully you could dig my question in that,
yeah.
all of that.
I think it is. I think it's more. I know it's more accepting. There's something about being able to provide a medicine and not letting them know it's medicine. You know what I mean? Adding the theatrical element and the humor and the inspiration makes that pill a little easier to swallow. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like what you wanted to say was that we, or society, has placed the Black man not on a pedestal, but to an unrealistic standard, which is very, very, very unfair. And
It
so
is.
through, this particular production, we wanted to paint the picture and allow the audience to get to see the successful Black man laugh, let them see them cry, bleed, open up to vulnerability, get
Mhm.
angry, hurt, unravel, and then, take some steps towards being put back together with
Mhm.
healing by each other. You know what I'm saying? With healing and wellness and wholeness. And the hope is that the Black man is seen as a whole man on stage in this production, and not the piece of a man that society paints him as, with their unrealistic expectations of who he should be, how he should feel, and especially how he should heal. You can't tell unless you're another Black man, or even another Black man can't tell. Like, you can make suggestions, but it's everybody but us telling the Black man to heal, or how to heal in society, or giving permission for them to heal. So, our hopes is that the conversation would be some answers to some questions, increased empathies, and a revelation that Black men need our support more than we're being
Yes,
led to believe by society.
absolutely, absolutely.
And
Team Nathaniel, what you got for me?
one of the things that I wanted to add to that is that we all say, the cast, Nay, myself, those who have been involved, is that everyone will see someone that they know.
They can
It could
identify
be a
with.
husband, it could be a father, it could be a brother, it could be an uncle. So they'll be able to relate. So a lot of people think, oh, God, guys, a cast full of men, oh, this is just for men. No, this is for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
because you will identify with someone in this production and you'll be able to connect it back to you. But that vulnerability that we're showing here is designed to be able to create that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had people who left that said, I went home and I talked to my husband because now I understand some things that I didn't understand before. We've had some people say that what he was going through, that was my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have some empathy and sympathy for their dad that they never had before.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives a broader picture of what we as Black men go through, and not just from one dimension, but from different angles as well. And that, as Nay said, the tears, the laughter, the pain, all of those topics that will be touched upon, including sexual assault, will be discussed as well. And so, just as Christian Keys said,
That's his name,
he
Christian.
believes. Oh
Sorry.
yeah, that's no problem. He said he believes that once his story comes out, others will talk as well.
Mm.
And so, with this production, the fact that we're talking about these things, we believe it will prompt other people to talk and
I'm.
get therapy
I'm.
And
and
that's the goal,
heal.
for
Yeah.
real.
I was gonna
That is
ask,
the
is
goal.
that
Like,
the
I think
goal?
more of
Yeah.
us more of us should create on a communicative level. Like, we don't get stuck in creating and saying, this is the answer. This
Right.
is all you need to do. But instead, we're developing material that says, let's talk about it. Let's no longer view these issues as taboo, but we just want to talk about it. Even if everybody can't talk at the same time, at least, or would have the bravery
Mm-hmm.
to, dialogue about it, at least start thinking about it. Because some of us we're so desensitized to a lot of these things now.
That's true.
And the media has helped, and society and whatever else, or just the numbness of, this is life, this is what I'm accepting, there's no hope. You know what I'm saying? So if some people can even spark a thought that, okay, it's time to talk about this,
Mm-hmm.
that is the goal.
So this show not only airs on our urban station, but it airs on our non-urban stations, our country station, our pop station, our sports station, and our talk station. And so, when I have interviews that relate to, this subject, that's geared more towards African American culture, you know, I my position is to educate all cultures and all ethnicities. So
Mhm.
what is your message for those who are not African American or not minority, that maybe they say, oh, well, this isn't for me. The conversation is for anybody because
Anybody.
For
everybody's
everybody.
affected by these
Yes.
issues. And why is it so important that we need to pay close attention to how this affects the Black community? Can anyone respond to that?
Sure. I mean, I'll start. I think it's for everybody
Mm-hmm.
because, again, everybody comes in contact with the Black male.
Whether you
So
want to or not.
whether they
Right.
want to or not. And so a lot of times because of how we're raised in our communities and our households or whatever, we're given a set of rules and regulations and thoughts and preconceived notions and everything else where those prejudices come from. And so a lot of times they don't know what we've been through. They don't know what we're going through. They don't know the expectations that are held over our heads. They don't know the depths of the injustices. They just know the surface things. And so being a part of the audience for this play, and we say, that's why we say we invite you into the kitchen so that it is more personal to you, that you'll understand better. And then maybe that will create a conversation at work, at the gym, at the cigar lounge, wherever you are, to say, hey, you know, I saw this production guide, guys, I had no idea. And then that conversation begins. Or they'll see some things that they can relate to. They say, wow, I thought this was just in my community. I didn't know that was going on in your community as well. And in all efforts, it's to create those conversations, and they'll get a better understanding of a lot.
Nay.
It's very, very important. I'm going to say there are mentions of, without giving too much away, there are mentions of other cultures in God Guys, because how can you talk about the Black male experience and not talk about how other cultures affect them? And so it's, as I stated before, and I believe Chuck has made mention as well, there's too many answers throughout this whole production for everybody not to see it. There's too many answers to explain to explain the Black male and express his true feelings on some things. It's definitely educational as much as it is conversational. So it is definitely a piece for everybody to see, Black, white, pink, male, female, however.
All right, I'm going to ask you to reveal just a small portion of something. The one part of this production that either made you get up, like get up cursing, mad, happy, crying, sad, you wanted to throw a shoe, like Jennifer Hudson, like hold on, I need a minute. You know what I mean? Like you just hang on, I need to. Yeah. What was that for you? Without giving too much away.
For me or Chuck?
Either one of you. I mean,
because I guess for me, it's hard for me to choose because I make it my business, and people often say, how the heck did you write for an all male cast? And I feel like I was emotional for much of the writing.
Wow.
You know, because I don't have any biological brothers, but I'm surrounded by bros. I've been a wife, I've been a daughter, I've been a niece, you know, and so I was able to see somebody while writing. Also being able to see these actors take on the characters and not, and again, from a technical standpoint, but also connecting from personal experience. Hard for me to choose, because anytime there is a place of feeling and I see it or I'm hearing it, oh my goodness, I do get up and say, okay, who's going to direct this part? Because this
I'm gonna need a minute. Y'all gonna have to get somebody else to do it. I can't sit here. Charles, go ahead.
I guess I'll say, and we're saying without giving too much away.
Without too much, because we want people to see it for themselves.
Absolutely. I will say that one of the hardest parts for me to watch and even hear, because a lot of times I put my head down and listen to it, is one of the characters, and I won't say how, but almost helping to end his mother's life, but thinking he's helping her. And so it shows the tainted love, the tainted relationships that children may have with their parents at times, because that's all they know, because that's the environment and the atmosphere that they've been brought up in. And so, and because it's generational, so who's going to change it? You know what I mean? So I'll just say that much.
Okay. What you got, Charles?
I would say for me, it's the Pop's role. Kevin Brown, who plays Pop.
Kevin Brown. You just said Kevin Brown, period.
He is amazing. But for someone who didn't have my father in my life on a consistent level, didn't have male mentors, didn't have people that said, don't go this way, or, who didn't have that. And then to see Pops, Kevin Brown playing and portraying Pops, to come off with that authoritative voice, stature, and direct and give lessons and point these men in the right direction. It breaks my heart to the point of joy, because it's like, this is what I wish I always had. And one of the things that happened is the audience feels the exact same way.
Okay.
And so it just moves me every time. And I just can't wait for people to experience that moment in addition to the rest.
Well, they're going to experience God Guys, a groundbreaking stage production. It's going to be here at the O'Reilly Theater in the Pittsburgh Cultural District, January 12th and 13th. I'm
We
excited.
want to probably make note that the 13th is the only public showing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the 12th is a dress rehearsal invite, and it's a private matinee show for
Okay.
school-aged, I should say,
Oh,
students.
wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. We might need some more days. I don't know what y'all need to
Okay.
do. Yeah,
To get this tickets.
because
Right.
we need everybody to come. So, yeah, we gonna need some more days. So I don't know who we need to send an email to. Let's make this work. Let's sell this out. How can they get tickets? And are tickets on sale? What we need to do?
They can go to godguyspittsburgh.eventbrite.com. godguyspittsburgh.eventbrite.com.
Is Pittsburgh spelled out?
Yes, Pittsburgh is
Okay.
spelled out.
Okay. All right. I'm intrigued. I'm ready to see it. I have a young son. I have a stepson, 25 and 32. I have a 60-year-old soon to be husband. So just being in the presence of Black men constantly and seeing what they go through every day, and being a mother of a Black man and having nephews and cousins and friends and colleagues. I'm definitely intrigued, and I'm ready to see what this is all about. I'm so
Awesome.
excited for both of you. Just to think this came from lunch with the bros.
Yeah.
Just hanging out with the bros, and now they on a stage telling their
Absolutely.
business.
And I can't overstate the connection with Nay and her just grabbing hold of the vision and making it work as well. And as she said, we're working on other things, but she saw this vision and she actually pushed it, because it was something that I was like, oh, it'll happen. I'll do it eventually. She's like, we need to do this now.
Because
And
that's what
so
women do. We
that's
do
why
that. We
people are getting to
pushy.
see it.
Women are pushy. You tell us to do something, we own it. So I'm sorry. I can't, no apologies, but that's just how we do.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
agree. I mean, yeah, and in agreement with the pushiness, but for me, impact is immediate.
You saw
Yes.
it. You saw
And
that this was
impact is
necessary.
immediate. And
Mhm.
so now is when it's an impactful moment, or it's an impactful topic. Now is the only time to do it for me, because my brothers are dying now.
Mm.
My
On a
sisters are
daily, way
dying
too
now.
much. Yes.
So, now is the only time to do it for me. It
Now
gets me
is
in
the
trouble
time.
at times, but because everything can't be done now, but I seem to believe it can. But
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
it. You got plenty of time. Get your tickets. God Guys, let me see. God Guys Pittsburgh spelled out .eventbrite.com. You can also call 412-407-7111. January 12th is a private showing. January 13th is open to the public. We're talking about God Guys at the O'Reilly Theater, Pittsburgh's Cultural District. Thank you so much, NA Stubbs, C. Nathaniel Brown. Thank you both so much for telling us what's good in your hood.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing this soon-be Broadway production of God Guys. Let's just do it. Let's put it in the atmosphere.
let's go,
Just
sis.
gonna put it in the atmosphere. Let's do it. Thank you both so much for telling us what's good in your hood.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.